my friend. Today we're going to be talking about how to chart a song. Now, I've randomly chose a bunch of different songs that I wrote in the last year or so off of a program called iReal Pro. I'm going to play that song for you right now. So if you're just starting and you want to learn how to do a chart, either on a big board in a group session, or put it on a piece of paper and handwrite it, or put it into a program like iReal Pro or Finale or Dorco, you're going to be making something called a lead sheet. There are different types. I am just one person, one musician. This is how I do it. If you dig it, thumbs up, subscribe, put something cool in the comment section, and look forward to new videos to talk about all sorts of stuff that's music related. And also on every single Tuesday, what we do here is we do Q&A. So tomorrow, if you look over, you're going to be finding yourselves doing some sort of topic. I think tomorrow's is how to write a melody. So what we've done is we've already gone over what a scale is, what chords are, what triads are, how to determine what mode you're going to be using while writing a melody. All this stuff is kind of like intermediate-ish. It's after you learn a couple major scales, a couple of minor scales on whatever instrument you're on. I just happen to be able to facilitate on Tuesdays for that. If you want, go check out the live stuff. You'll love it. Hopefully. If not, put a comment why you don't like it, and we'll go over that. As far as today, we're just going to be playing through the chords of this song on the piano and showing if we can make a melody out of just the notes that are chosen. Here we go. Oh, bluegrass. How to use the circle of fifths, and let's go from there. So in the beginning here, when we look at the chords, we find ourselves doing... let's take a gander here. We have ourselves looking at a G, F, and C. So in the key of C major, G major, or F major, because those are the family chords. But let's take a look at that, and there's really nothing outside of here besides maybe the one there, the 2, 3. So let's take a gander at what this looks like. Okay, here I'm just going to do what I normally do. I hope you're following along. If you haven't already drawn out the circle of fifths, I suggest you do. We're going to do that right here. Here's our circle. Here's a C. C major, no sharps, no flats. When we go to this side, we find ourselves having one flat. F major has 7 notes like every scale in the Western ear. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So I'm just going to put those right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1. Some people ask me, why do I write in Roman numerals? Or why do I write so small? 1, I don't have any proportion on size, and I don't really understand the way the computer works here. I hope you could read it. And 2, Roman numerals are for music analysis. And it's also great to write a chart with Roman numerals because then you don't have to transpose on the spot. For me, yeah, I know that if I'm in the key, I've got C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. When we go to G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, I know all the chords, all the notes that goes with it, but even while playing in real time, it is super hard to be like looking at a chart that says C minor and going, okay, I need to be playing a D minor because I'm up a whole step in this song. We transposed it on the fly. That's just really hard. It's much easier to look at Roman numerals and do the same thing. You just associate the 7 tones from your key. That's what these are. When we continue going, the only flat in the key of F is a B flat. Groovy. So we're going to throw our 1 chord here. And just for reference, we're going to put our relative minor, the 6th of the chord. The major 6th in every key is going to be your relative minor. Now, we can just go ahead and complete our circle fifths and then look 4 notes away. C major is relative minor is A, G is E. When you keep going, it completes the circle. If you want to memorize it that way, awesome. If you want to take the circle and just go in fifths, because it is C, D, E, F, G, G, A, B, C, D, D, blah, 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 blah. The reason why this is we're counting quite literally learn in one key. What we realize is for every subsequent key that is not the key of C major, which has no sharps and flats, we actually are then going to be playing something that resolves and has a T. In the F, you play the C. Each one of these keeps layering. So when we go down to B here, we could, without a doubt, say there are 5 sharps in the key of B. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. Because F is the first of the sharps. When we play F major is the only key that starts with a white note that does not go 1, 2, 3 under. Every single one of our C keys do. D, E, F does not. It goes to the ring finger and then under, leaving 4 fingers back over with that ring finger and then back down for a perfect fingering down to the G there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how to chart this out. The name of this song is No More Whining. I randomly just pick names of songs and go from there. Sometimes just pick a song. Have fun. Continuing our circle of force, F, G, A, B flat. Now, just as we said, circle force is 5 semitones. So if you do 5 semitones going this way on the circle, you will achieve your next flat every single time. The reason why this is interesting, if we did B and we looked at the piano right here, and we went from our B and we wanted to go to its 5th, the only 2 on this whole piano that do not have parallel fingerings, here on the islands we call this a shaka. If you do a C to a G, C sharp, G sharp, D to A, see where I'm going with this? Every single one of these is parallel, except for B flat goes to a white key, black key, white key, and then B goes white key, black key. Then you decide where to put your 3rd major or minor. You also do sus chords there. So what we're describing here is when we see our D flat, you also have a C sharp, which is the last. G flat is also F sharp, and C flat is also a B. Now you can keep going with that circle of he-who's here. C, D, E, F flat. Well, yes, F flat is E, but we don't really call it F flat. When we go F, G, A, B, well, yeah, B double flat is A, but we don't really call it that. So we don't even write this on the circle. Kind of imagine these, and this really helps us to define our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So getting back over to the first chord in this song is in 4/4. No more whining. How do I spell whining? I think that's right. Whining. Whew, grammar. So when we start this, we're going to start this in 4/4. What does that mean? There are 4 beats per measure, and the quarter note gets the beat. This one I think I threw up on the charts as being like a bluegrass tune. Don't know why. Maybe I was just feeling that day. Whilst going through this, what we're going to do is see how our 4/4 is going to lead to our first chord. And as we talked about, rather than writing an F here, I'm going to write a Roman numeral 1. When I write that Roman numeral 1, it allows me to memorize my key signature. By doing this, you get really proficient at your keys, knowing C has no sharps. F, if you're just working with C and F, there's only 2 things you need to know. There are 7 sharps, 7 flats. There are also hypothetical keys like B sharp, but we're not going to do B sharp, C double sharp, D double sharp, E sharp, F double sharp, G double sharp, A double sharp. It feels weird to do those. So our idea here is we're going to throw up a bar saying that this first measure is going to have a couple notes here. If you don't want to rewrite 1, 1, 1, 1 or whatever, if you have reoccurring chords, you can just put a percent sign. That means to repeat the last measure. If you happen to have it with double bars in the middle of something, that means to repeat the measures that came before it, generally just the 2. However, here, I'll just erase the whole thing. This is what our first line is going to look like. F, F, C, C. C is the 5 chord, so I'm going to put a capital V. Again, to repeat, that's the end of the measure. I'm going to go down below. Now, one thing a lot of people like to do is just do a straight line and then erase a little bit. If I'm doing a large chart on a board like I generally do. Here we go. We're going to be playing the G here. Now, The G in this case is not a G minor. So take notice that the G is still going to be the second. But at this point, we're not playing it as a minor, we're playing it as a major. At this point, since it's my first time looking at the G as being a major, I think to myself, is this in the key of F major? Quite possibly, this could be written in the key of C major. C major has a 1, 4, and 5 because the family chords of these share. In the key of F, there's a B flat major. So my first thing after seeing the G major, getting out of the diatonic form of just having a song which uses only the chords from that key. F major, G minor, A minor, B flat major, C major, D minor, and E diminished, or C7 as a 5 dominant. If I'm looking at that, I peruse down the rest of the song and I do see a D minor. I see an E minor, which is out of the key for F, because E would have been played as a diminished. And then I see a B flat. So hypothetically, you could write this in the key of F or C. Since we already started with F, I think we're going to just go through the process here and see it through the eyes of the F major. Our next chord is going to be a G as well. I'm going to put the parentheses, meow. After that, we have our 5 chord again. So this, to this point, is just typical. This point, we have the 5, but it's no longer a repeat. We're turning that C major into a C7. Thusly, as we just aforementioned, it's going to sound an awful lot like our lending tone, the E diminished. Looking at this, this is the end. I'm going to put a double bar to show this is the end of our first measure. Or not even our first measure, our first section, the A section. And since this song has more than just A, it has a B, which is binary, multiple form. Ternary, I think, has a C and a D, and it changes a little bit of form and goes to a minor. So yeah, fun. This next one, we're going to put a B, put a box around it, and then you do not have to put the key signature, the time signature if you don't want to, because it's inferred that it doesn't change. The only time you would have a double bar is when you end a measure and start a measure, or if you're going to be changing the time signature and the aforementioned key signature, which is really hard. You just don't do it for every one. Like here, because the G major is not in the key here, you wouldn't put a double bar here. That gets a little too confusing. You just do that at the beginning of sections if the whole section is going to be changed. After here, we've got our 1 chord again, the F. We're going to be repeating this. Bring my apparatus over. Yeah. We're going to be repeating this F, so 5 chord. And then because we have C and F being repeated, just going to use the aforementioned sign. That means to repeat these two. So you'd play the 1 chord, the 5 chord, the 1 chord, the 5 chord, and then you would keep going after that. It looks as if we're doing the same kind of thing here. We'd have the 1 chord. Our next chord is going to be the G, but we're playing the major too. Remember, it's not a G minor. And then we've got an F again, and then we've got a C7, so a 5 dominant. This is the end of this measure. However, there is a repeat. I'm going to put 2 dots at the end of the measure there, and because this is a repeat at the end of the section, I'm just going to put these little bars, 2 little dots there, and then I have to look where the repeat is. Oh, well, gee golly, it doesn't just go up to the B part. It goes all the way back up to the A, and it does this whole thing again. So in reference, we're going to be going through this one time, all the way back, and doing it again. So it's an A, B, A, B. Coolness. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here and erase a little bit of this BORAD. And hopefully you wrote down your key signature above and your circle fifths if you're following along. Right here, we could actually move this over, but if you're a rock star, you've already memorized it. We're going to do our C right here. Since it's on a new page, I might put the 4/4 time signature, but because we didn't really change time, there's really no need to. All right, we're going to play an F, so that's our 1 chord. It repeats. After our F, we're going to have a 5 chord. It repeats. Oh, gee golly, it looks as if we might be doing the same thing we did in the first. So here, it looks as if we're doing an A, B, A, B, A, but we're naming it as C. That doesn't seem right. I'm going to rename this as A. It's the same thing. Why rename it twice? That's like putting a hat on a hat. Okay, unless we find there's another chord in here which doesn't match. But it looks to match exactly. It has a major 2 again. Has the major 2 rocking has a 5 chord and then a 5 dominant. Yeah, those are the same. The only thing that's different is it has a DC coda, which means we're going to go all the way back to the beginning, and then we're going to take it to the coda. The coda just happens to be right here. So when we find ourselves all the way to the beginning again, we're going to take that marking and then drop it to right here, which I have named as the D, but it's not. It's going to be the C. This is a ternary section. It has an A part, a B part, binary, and then it has another section which uses the relative minor of the key, D minor. So when we go up here, we're going to have a 6 chord. After that, we've got a E minor. There is no E minor in the key of F. Therefore, rather than writing this with a diminished, we leave the diminished off, signifying that when we play the E, it does not have a B flat. When you have an E, a G, and a B, you get an E minor, as the spelling of E major is E, G sharp, and B. When you flatten the third or the median, you achieve a minor chord, and when you flatten the dominant, you get a diminished chord. We are not utilizing the E diminished going back into the F major. We're utilizing an E minor, a part of a series, which is a minor feel. So having said that, we have a D minor, E minor. We've got our F major, which is our 1 chord, and then we're going to be playing our major 2. That G major keeps throwing me for every single one of these. Maybe I should have written in the key of C. All right, and then when we're going down to our next line here, bar, bar, ba, bar, 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 bar. And there's way more bars here, so I'm just going to write out my bars. Sometimes, as I said, I find it more proficient to go through these like that. We have our 6, D minor, E minor, F major, G major. We're going to take this line and do the D minor again. We're going to do the E minor again. Ooh, so I almost wrote the chart. We have our E minor, and then we have our F major and a G major. So this line absolutely just repeats. I mean, hypothetically, if you're running out of time or a section, you could just put repeats on this because it would have done it twice. And then below this, we're going to have a D minor again. Oh, you know what? I might want to actually do that because I'm running out of space here. Let me just write this out where it is. Bing, 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 bing. Doom, 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 doom. Cool. Those are going back and forth, back and forth. I don't need to write that out. This is now my 3rd line, which goes underneath it, goes back to the D, and then it hits a G, sus, and then a G. Cool. A little triad awareness there. What happens when you remove the 3rd from any chord, especially in the key of G? If you remove that 3rd and give it a 4th, it feels suspended in air, doesn't it? All right, D minor now turns into a B flat major. So this is the first time we've had the appearance of the 4 chord. We're going to have a repetition of that 4 chord. We're then going to have that chord split the 4 chord, and then that 4 chord turns into a, not a 4 chord, but look at this. In the key of F major, there is no B natural. Therefore, when we play the B natural, if we look at it through the eyes of the piano, B in correlation to F is called an augmented note. It's a dissonance. Feels kind of weird because it should feel like this. Major, sus. Well, these two clash because it's a minor second. So what we have here is we're moving a chord out of the way of F and we're playing a B dominant 7. This B dominant 7 functions as a lending tone. Now, since it's still a B, it's still a 4 chord. However, we're playing it as a sharp 4 with a 7. Does that make sense? You could also call it a flat 5, but we're already using the note of C as being the 5 chord. So I wouldn't say things twice. It makes a little bit more sense to name it in its natural state as a B. Cool. After that, B7 is going to a C. C7. Oops. C is our 5 chord. What this is a not natural way to resolve to another chord. We're using a secondary dominant from another key. B7 would resolve to its 1 chord, so it would be E. B7 feels like it wants to go into E major, which is interesting because we're not going to E major, we're going to C. I'm most likely going to change that. I don't think it sounds good in my head just listening to it. And then the last thing we end on here is the 1 chord. So just following, we're going to make this last bar super dark, double bar it so we know it's the end of the section. And like most songs, it ends on the 1. Or it ends as a deceptive cadence, ends on the 6. Or it goes to like 4-1 plagal, or it goes to a perfect authentic cadence where it goes up and then back down and ends. Long story short, this is the song. Let's take another gander, see what this thing sounds like. Maybe we could try it with a different rhythm. I wasn't a big fan of that bluegrass nonsense. Yeah, open it up, bro. What is the name? No Mar Vining. Hey. All right. So, I want to get it out of here. How do I do that? I don't remember. We're going to classic. Wunderbar. And then pop country, Nay Say I. Ooh, bossa nova. I think we should try it in this, but do it a little slower so we can follow along. Not the fastest. 105 probably works. Still the key of F. Let's hear what it sounds like. C7's out of place. About that B7, I'd have to put my fingers on it. Did not sound good when I tried it in bluegrass. This program that I'm doing in it didn't like the bossa nova feel. Interesting enough. So, just going to jump over on the piano here and then show just a little bit of what this could feel like when playing true here. Having something like this, that F, that, what is it? Could have like a F major, move our first adaptation I would make here is get rid of the nonsense of this. Everything now is going to be a minor chord, which is great because that actually fits a little bit better with what I was feeling there. That means that one is also changed. There is no reason to get outside of the diatonic phrasing unless the melody supports that, but none of these songs that I have a melody assigned to them yet. I'm going through these to show the idea of charting. Going to go back on these and throw melodies. The more you look at the charts and the songs that you've written, the more you do stuff like what I'm doing right now. It's analyzation and then seeing that. The next step is to take just a section, put it on paper on the grand staff, and start writing out some melodies. When I do that, I will write the chords in order of the timing. This is in 4/4, and this is only one chord per measure. So what I would do is just put a chord pro. I would put the F or the G, now G minor, above the chord, above that bar. So then whomever's playing, if they see a bar that just has like 2 bars and 4 slashes, it's ad libitum or rubato. They're able to do whatever they want in there, but then they would know they'd be playing in F, G minor, F, C, whatever the chords are there. So going through here, I'm just going to change all my 2s. You know, maybe it would make sense. And then just music theory-wise, there is no minor sus. You don't call minor chords sus chords. You call them 9 chords. So this would automatically change these 2, the Gs. Now they're G minor 9s. That also means with this chord, unless I did not want to have that, I would need to say G minor add 9. The difference between the 2 notes is if we have a G minor and we absolutely just put the 9 in there, we can see that it's called a G minor add 2 sometimes, or a G2. No, G minor 2. G2 would be a major. However, if we were to just take that note and throw it up top, as you see, we would have a 9 as added as a 2. But whenever you start stacking things like chords, triads, it makes more sense to have 3 notes as the triad, as a foundation, and then if you're going to add a 9, to have a 7 as well. That 7 will be a minor 7. So in the key of G major, because everything is viewed through the eyes of the major, we have a F sharp. That's our 7, the dissonance. It's pretty for a G major 7, but we're playing a minor chord and we don't want a minor major. Our bond chord, we want a F. And now if we add our 9 chord, oh gorgeous, G minor 9, always one of my favies. I think actually that chord will work quite well with what this song's trying to accomplish. G golly whiz. And then we're going to change this one right here. Beep beep boop. And I don't think we have a 2 chord anywhere else in here, do we? There it is. Chip chat. Dunzo. That right there just changed the way that I feel about this whole song and progression instantaneously. I wasn't a big fan of this right now. Now we've got something that feels like that much more. So our F, we did Randy Newman it. Randy Newman, yeah, you know more whining. So I would go back and play with this song over and over and over again, utilizing this chord chart. Once I played around with it and I had a little bit of fun with it, I would put it on a piece of paper, take it to whomever I was playing with, or bounce it off ideas of people I'm going to school with, people I live around that are also musicians, other people in other bands. Throw them a chart, see what they think about it. You might make it into one of their jam sessions. Other than that, this is how to chart a song 101. I'm just one person. I try to fill in the blanks here and there as I go. However, all this is based on just a very simple amount of music theory. Music theory I use to just get through this whole thing is being able to say, hey, there are this many notes inside of this key. If we are in the key of F major, I can take this whole song written as a Roman numeral and then play it on a different key, which means if I'm not digging playing that groove, I think I ended on what, the Randy Newman kind of nonsense. If I wasn't digging on playing it in the key of F, and I wanted to see this maybe through the eyes of C, we could transpose it. Going up a perfect fifth allows us to see now the key has no sharps and flats. C major, we would still be playing the G major, but remember the D major is no longer there. We've gone to a D minor. Now here's the real interesting thing. Does that song sound better with the major second after changing key? Generally, chords are chords. 1-3-5 is a 1-3-5. However, D major and D minor are called common chords because they share all the same notes. You might not think so. They are only differing by 1/2 step. This F sharp and F natural. So it sounds weird to play both of them. However, that note sometimes you have as a substitution in music. Many, many, many classical composers did this as well. So maybe that C note. Yeah, I like it in the key of C. I tried the D minor first. Let's try D major. Stick with the minor on there. Anywho, this has been just a brief idea and understanding on how to chart something out. Oh, very cool. Hi, Mrs. Howard. How you doing? Hard to hear you when you step away from the mic. You know, that tends to happen. I've got a lapel mic that's old school and it runs on AAA batteries and it plugs into this little M audio interface, and I'm really hoping that this channel gets monetized. The first thing that I would do as soon as being monetized is I would buy an interface. I was talking with some gentleman on Island about one of those red ones, the Scarlets. I think he had it for $50. I'm gonna snatch it. I'm sure it's better than this M Audio, the Track Duo. I don't even think this one has drivers anymore, so it is what it is. Life being broke. Anywho, once we get monetized, and we're so very close, I think we need 3,000 hours or 4,000, something like that. We're at 1,800 plus, so almost 1,900. Very cool. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thanks for watching the videos and enjoying interacting here. And tell you what, I got students hanging out outside. I need to attend to them. If you have any questions about what transpired here, please put it in the comment section. Remember, when you're writing your charts, it's much easier to write them in Roman numerals, regardless of what key you're in. If I wanted to see this in the key of B flat, I could absolutely see this as being a B flat, and then when we go to the 5 chord, you betcha. B flat, C, D, E flat, F. You can see how learning your keys on the circle fifths and then learning how to play through these chord charts is just going to make you a better player, understanding a little bit more about music theory, and then how to stay within a key signature or get outside of there and break all the rules. If you enjoyed this today, put a thumbs up, subscribe, give it to somebody you really dig on, and then if you could, join us tomorrow when we're going to do a little music theory. I do believe we're going to be talking about how to create a melody. We're going to be putting the staff on the board, drawing out some notes, assigning some chords, and then playing through it. There are many different ways to do it. Most likely we're going to be doing part writing and doing maybe 3-part writing, or might do 4 depending on who's on the channel. Thank you for being here today. Everybody else, as Miss Howard said here, have a great day and mahalo. Aloha.